think a lot of it is exposing that, allowing them to know that they know what kind of behaviors are taking place, and having those conversations about what is appropriate, what's another way to handle that situation. And I think that goes a long way, because I think they tend to get into a rut, and they gain these habits in their behavior patterns where they feel like this is the way they need to handle these different situations. So I think role playing with them. And then also, a lot of times I think parents feel like, well, I'm the parent, so they're not going to listen to me. I think always handing that off to us at the schools, or if sometimes youth workers at church, those kind of things, providing them with models that show how to handle those behaviors in a more productive way, in which they would get what they actually want. Because a lot of times, whenever we, as counselors, we know that we do behaviors to get something. And so for them to understand why they're doing their behaviors, and for the parents to understand why those behaviors are being done, so that they can help that student, their child, get what they actually want in a more positive way. I think it is a growing problem, and I think it is getting younger and younger. And the problems that we encounter are that the parents are not, they're not as savvy with the technology themselves, so they're allowing their students to go on there without their guidance, and that creates some real problems, not only for the person that's doing the bullying, but also the target, because they don't know how to handle it. When they find that information, when they see some things that are written about them, said about them, videos that are posted about them, they don't know how to handle that. And I think parents being involved in that, having some devices in play, encrypted in your computer, so that you know exactly when your student is on there, when they're not on there, what they're actually doing, can be extremely helpful. And then you got to do some research on what is out there, what's available. And I think there's nothing wrong with setting those limitations that they need to be. Facebook sets an age of 13. Well, we have a lot of 10, 11, 12-year-olds that are actually on Facebook, and actually that's, they're saying that they are of age when they're not. And so parents can help tremendously just by overseeing what their students are doing on the computers, on their phones. I mean, they own those phones, so they can look at those phones. We have a lot of parents that say, well, it's my student's phone. So well, you are the parent, though. So you have the right to look at those things. And if it's not you looking at those things, unfortunately, it might be the police looking at those things, or something like that. And we would never want that to happen. So I think there is a rising occurrence of things happening with social media at a younger and younger age, but there is in fact things that we can do to manage that, but we can't be afraid as adults to get involved with those situations. I think when it comes to that body language, just standing upright, looking somebody in the face when you speak to them, and I think a lot of our students, even just for communicating effectively in all circumstances, looking somebody in the eye, shaking firmly with the hand, and not just carrying yourself in a manner that would project that I don't care, that I'm not worth anything. And I guess that's easy to say, but just being eye contact is really important. A body that's firm and that's clear, that you're not communicating that you're not really sure about yourself. But even if you're not right, sometimes we're not, but just making a clear, effective stand on what you actually believe at the time. And being able to say, you know what, I made a mistake, and being able to take a risk, and showing that you can recover from that, I think says a lot. I think one type of bullying that really is prevalent in the middle school is that relational type of bullying, where relationships are used as the power, and encouraging, the bully may try to encourage or discourage relationships to occur amongst certain individuals. And when that tends to be what takes place, we really encourage students to develop new relationships, and also continue those relationships within their family unit. And we always say, your friends will come and go, but your family will always be there. And again, that's where parents can really jump in and be there, and maybe not say, this is what you need to do, but be there to support them and listen. And that's so critical, that we're just there to listen and not always redirect necessarily, but be available. And sometimes that's what they're lacking in those relational aggression, is that they're not being heard. And so giving them that opportunity, putting them in those positions where they can have that opportunity to be heard, so that they feel, again, that they're empowered, that they can gain confidence, and that they are indeed right. Because I think a lot of times their confidence is swayed because they're told incorrectly that they're not doing the right things, or saying the right things, or wearing the right things. So they need to be given that confidence back through different means, that they are really worth something, that they are doing the right things, and that they have the power. So.